Let us begin as we always do. Stand if you can join me. Let's say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi there.
Hi.
Let us begin, as we always do our town halls after the pledge, by acknowledging all of the men and women who have served this country. I went to Washington to fight, and whoever I run against, I'm going to fight. And I'm going to fight for the ideas this country was founded on. And we have strayed from those ideals. As a country, we have. This president has no clue as to what those ideals are. That's what this election is about. Whoever I run against, Tammy Duckworth or Raja, they've got no clue. They will do whatever this president tells them to do, whatever Nancy Pelosi tells them to do, and that will go against what this country was founded upon. So the fight is important. The fight is emotional. The fight is passionate. And you know what? The fight can get ugly at times. It got ugly last year. Always remember what we're fighting for. And as impassioned as the fight can get, both sides in this fight, Republicans and Democrats, we both are part of the greatest country in the world. And though we fight, and though we're fighting over important things, let's never forget that. What keeps us together is men, back then it was men, back at the founding it was men, risked everything to start this country. Men and women over the years have given themselves, have impaired themselves, have hurt themselves to defend it. So I always like to, before we engage in a debate, let's acknowledge the men and women who served. If you wore the uniform and served this country, stand up or raise your hand to be recognized. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to a town hall. We're going to do 3 town halls in the next couple days. We'll be at Elk Grove in about 2 hours, and then tomorrow we're down in Villa Park. My name is Joe Walsh. I'm the current congressman from the 8th District. You all know the story, right? The 8th District has changed. Every district has changed. We do this in this country every 10 years. Most Americans aren't aware that we do this every 10 years. I think they are aware of it now. Most Americans were never aware of something called the debt ceiling a year ago. They're aware of it now. The country's growing up. The country's waking up. That's a good thing. I live in McHenry, Illinois, which is right in the heart of the current 8th District. They drew me out of this new 8th. The Democrats in Illinois drew me into a district with a fellow Republican freshman. And though that fellow Republican freshman and I are very different, it didn't sit right with me to run against another freshman Republican. So Joe Walsh decided to take on this challenge and run in what will be the new 8th District. And the Democrats drew it to elect a Democrat. They won't. It won't. This district won't. But that's what they intended to do. Pretty much starts up the northern boundary, and I'm going to botch it, is sort of South Barrington, Dundee, Carpentersville to the west, Schaumburg, Palatine, goes off into some of Buffalo Grove and Arlington Heights to the east, and then it heads south into Addison, Bloomingdale, Villa Park, Elmhurst, Elk Grove, and a little bit of York Township.
All the way to Elgin.
Elgin on the west, yeah. So it's a, as they all are, it's a crazily shaped district. I'm going to do what I did during that last campaign, and I'm going to do what I've done since I got elected. I'm going to keep doing hundreds and hundreds of these. I am going to talk directly to Republicans, Independents, and Democrats in this district, as many as I can in the next 9 months, and ask them really a simple question. You know, you've heard me say that this is the most important election in our lives. I believe that. You ought to believe that. You ought to believe it's the most important election in the lives of your grandkids not even born, because it is. Here's the beautiful thing. It's also probably the easiest election I can ever remember. If anybody in this district or the country is confused about how to vote 8.5 months from now, you need help. Nobody should be confused. Now, you've got a president, President Obama, who has a worldview. He's got a view of America, he's got a view of us people, and he's got a view of our role in the world that's well over here. It's a view I don't share. It's a view that Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, Rick Santorum, and Ron Paul don't share. So whoever it's going to be, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I think we will have a nominee. Usually that gets more laughs. Whoever it's going to be, Romney, Gingrich, Santorum, or Paul, is going to have a much different worldview than this president. You can just tick down the issues. Do you want to drill for oil? This president won't let you. Any of those Republicans will. Do you want to keep and expand Obamacare? This president will. None of the Republican nominees will. Do you want to increase taxes on small business owners? This president will. None of the Republicans will. Do you want to stand with Israel? I mean, really stand with Israel. Should America? Any one of the Republicans will. This president won't. Turn that off. I don't need it. By the time you're ready, I'll be in Elk Grove. Come on, team. We're fine. John, Andrew, I'm fine. I got a big mouth. The point I'm trying to make is, this isn't difficult. And if you're like me, and many of you know where I am politically, none of the nominees excite me much. None of them really get me going much. But that's okay. My motivation is, my excitement is, my passion comes from the fact that, respectfully, I believe every single day this president's in the White House, he is destroying what makes this country great. Now, if you believe that with me, boy, oh boy, that's enough to get me wound up. I don't need Ronald Reagan to be my nominee. I don't need a Messiah to lead me. I'm driven to save this country. I'd like to respectfully remove this president from the White House, and I don't care who my nominee is. Folks, if you're concerned about this country and you want to turn it around, you're going to do it. It's not your nominee that's going to do it. The differences are great. Whoever I run against, Tammy or Raja, it's insignificant to me. It's insignificant. The differences will be great. And it's really pretty simple. If anybody in this 8th district wants us to continue down the path this president's taking us, you have to get rid of Joe Walsh. I'll tell people to do that. If you like what this president's doing, if you want Nancy Pelosi to be your speaker again, do me a favor. Don't vote for me. You can't vote for me. In fact, I'll do you one better. Work real hard to get rid of me. You have to. You have to pick a side this year, always respectfully. That's hard to do sometimes. But passionately work for it. I don't want us to be in a situation after this election where we've got Republicans and Democrats banging heads again. Pick the Democrats, give the Democrats Washington again. Give the whole city to the Democrats, or give the Republicans a shot to do things right. Pick a side. It's going to be really, really easy. As we get started here, remember, at my town halls, there's only one ground rule: respect. Respect everybody in this room. Respect every viewpoint. Unlike most congressmen and women, we invite everybody to these things. Republican, Independent, Democrat. I want to hear from everyone. And we do a lot of these. Most members of Congress don't like to do all of these. And that's the reason, because somebody's taping me. And that guy right there probably isn't my friend. And he's taping me, and every single word he says is going to be given to Tammy or Raja. And every single word Joe Walsh says is going to be a campaign commercial. And you know what? That scares most politicians. Guys like this scare us. Because you know, we live in this world now, YouTube, where, oh my God, I'm a walking video. That scares most politicians. It doesn't scare me. I welcome it. I welcome it. Because this is a really important election. And so I'm going to keep doing these. I am old-fashioned. I believe that my district hired me. Not everybody voted for me. Not everybody likes me. But my district hired me. And it's part of my job. No, it's the most important part of my job to come home every weekend and get in front of my employers. And let you tell me what you really think of a vote or a decision, good or bad. If I don't have the courage to do that, I don't deserve to go back to Washington. None of us do. We send too many Republicans and Democrats to Washington. We leave them there for life. They keep growing this thing called government, and they stop listening to us. Tom Morrison over there will never let that happen. Joe Walsh will never, ever, ever let that happen. Before you leave, give me a 5-minute warning before you're going to leave. I'd like you to get up and say hi and say some things. Promise me? I'm absent-minded. I'll forget. He's my favorite person we have down in Springfield. So, only rule, folks, is respect. That's it. Liberal, conservative, independent, Democrat, Republican. Stand up, be proud, let me know what you think. But treat each other with respect. I'm gonna point out 2 things in my 5-minute opening, and it won't even be a 5-minute opening, in my 3-minute opening. Issue 1,